Everybody, Melanie here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you find something of value here and let's get right into it. Today I have a hot topic and that is normalizing apologizing to your children. I'll let that sink in for a minute. Normalizing apologizing to your children. So my backstory is I started along the motherhood journey very young. I got pregnant at 14 and had my son at age 15. Now you already know what that looks like. A kid having a kid, no common sense. I ain't had no common sense. I should have still been jumping rope and playing with dolls. But yeah, I had him at 15. I was still in high school, and I thank God for a great support system. Had my mom, dad, grandparents, great grandparents, everybody was around to help with that process. But at the same time, he's still my child. He's not there. So what Melanie did with her life affects him, no matter how much support he had around him. So I'm just now realizing that, the foundation from the very beginning was faulty. There was a faulty foundation from the beginning. And that's actually showing up in a relationship I have with my son today. Right now, out of seven children, he's the only one that I don't have a great relationship with. Where, I don't speak to him for months at a time. I haven't seen him since 2019. So, at some point, we have to get to the root of the problem. There's a faulty foundation there, and I'm going to get a little, spiritual with you all, but I know God is restoring faulty foundations in His time and in this season. I'm a seer. For those of you that know what it is, I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'm a seer. And I saw a couple of weeks ago broken concrete. There was a crack in the concrete going like down past what, we can see on, eye level. I can see what's going down, a crack in the concrete. And then I saw blood filling in that crack, and then fire filling in the crack. It's like it was fortified on both sides. And I already knew that it was the blood of Jesus, and then there was the fire of the Holy Spirit. So I already know God is restoring the faulty foundations, because you have to look at the foundation of a situation. Even when you're dealing with your children, you have to look at that foundation and see what is it built on. What is the relationship built on? If it's faulty, then there's some work that needs to be done, and God is restoring all of that. I already know it. But anyway, back to my story. So I had him at 15, didn't know anything. Throughout the years, I kept on having more children, of course, because I wound up with seven. So, he's the oldest. He saw the most. He went through a lot. I went through domestic violence. He was in situations, seeing situations that no child should have had to see. Poverty, living in poverty, never seemed to have enough, never seemed to have the things that, he was supposed to have. And I realized that. And I have apologized to him for not being what he needed me to be as a mother. Now, that takes a lot to realize, first of all, that you weren't sufficient as a parent, as far as what your child needed. Needs weren't met mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that. Needs weren't being met. That's a hard pill to swallow as a parent when you have to self reflect and be like, okay, I did this, but I didn't do that well, you know? And it's even harder when you have to, bite your tongue, and go and apologize, no matter what response you get. Because a lot of times you get a negative response because the children are hurt. The children are hurt, you know. So apologizing is necessary because apologizing is what can help to set some of these kids free. That sometimes that's all they need to hear. But like, oh, she realizes what what I was missing. You know, she feels my pain. She knows, she gets it finally. This is for men too, fathers. You need to apologize to your kids too. It's not just for mothers. Like I said, with kids, we're not born with the handbook. They're not born with the handbook. We learn, as we do, and we do the best that we can with the tools that we have. But it's very important when you see and realize that you haven't done the best for your children. You need to apologize, even if they're grown adults. My kids are all grown. The youngest are what, 21 and 19. My oldest son will be 35 this year. So, as a parent of seven, I would apologize to everybody because I was parenting out of a place of survival. And so, what that means for me is I made sure they had stuff to eat. I struggled, sometimes with meals, but, that was my goal to make sure, they had something to eat, keep a roof over their head, and, things like that, like the basic necessity. That was a struggle. So I was parenting from a place of survival, and I wasn't aware of the emotional impact, you know, the emotional impact that not having the things that they needed would have on their lives. So, like I said, I've apologized to all of them that need apologies. All of them have gotten apologies. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's something that needs to be done because that could be the thing. The apology could be the thing that sets them free from a lot of mental turmoil, heartache, all of that. It's very important to own up to your mistakes as parents. And I mean, either they accept your apology or they don't. You just continue to love them, pray for them, and hope that they will, hope that they will someday accept your apology, and you all can have a great relationship. But yeah, parents really need to normalize apologizing. Just think back. Think back of all the things that you could have done better. You may not have had the tools, like I didn't have the tools. I didn't know, the first thing about parenting. I just felt like, oh, kids supposed to eat, sleep. I'm supposed to make sure they get clothes, they go to school. And I mean, it was like no emotional, not caring for them emotionally. I was just in survival mode. Like, let me get from one day to the next with these kids. And then, I just kept on piling on more kids. So it just made my load that much heavier. Is there something that you need to apologize for? Some kids can lash out in different ways when they're hurt, disappointed. I've seen, some of these TV shows where the kids are in a rage, cursing their parents out and, Mom, you weren't there, and, I needed you. Sometimes the kids just need you to listen to them, which is sometimes hard because they might cuss you out. Sometimes hard to listen to your kids telling you, look, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. You got to sit there and take it as a parent. You got to sit there and take it because that's their reality. That's how they felt, and you owe it to them to hear, hear how they felt and how they're feeling. You owe it to them to listen to them and not, be combative. Don't be combative. They're like, well, I did the best I could and this and that. I mean, at this point, it's not even about that. It's about them healing. It's about them knowing that you validate their feelings. And it's about trying to build so you all can have a better relationship in the future. You know, people can be grown up and still be hurting from something that happened as a child. That's the faulty foundations. Those faulty foundations need to be fixed. The cracks need to be sealed up so that they can function, at the maximum ability, that they were made to function at. So that's just something to ponder. I'm a real transparent person. Like I said, I don't, I didn't have secrets, and hide stuff from my kids. Yeah, it's a little weird, the first time you apologize, like, man, I'm sorry, I didn't know better. I didn't have it. I'm sorry that I put you through this as a parent. I didn't have the skills that I needed. It's a little weird, it's something to get used to when you got to apologize to somebody. Who really likes to apologize? Who really likes to admit that they were wrong? Who likes to admit that they missed it? Not many people. It's not a good feeling. But if that was necessary to help facilitate healing in your children, then that's something you got to suck it up and do it. It's something you got to do. Wouldn't that be something you want to do for your kids so they can move forward and be happy, healthy, healed, and productive? So that's just something, that's been on my mind. It's very important. It's very important. And I pray that you all gain something from this and that you find something valuable and that you look deep within and see if there's some areas that you might need to apologize for. Look at the actions of your children. Look at the relationships you have with your children. Are they what you want them to be? Do you need to apologize? Those are some questions that you need to ponder. So I'm not gonna prolong this, but I just wanted to, put this out here. I should have been made this video because it's been on my mind. And like I said, with the faulty foundation, it's just, that was just something else. When I saw that, I had that vision of that faulty foundation and that cracked concrete. I'm like, you know what, Lord, it's just, He blows my mind. So just keep me and my family in prayer. And I'll keep you all lifted up in prayer as well with your relationships and pray for unity with the families because unity is needed. And a lot of times when families are disconnected, you can trace it all the way back to the faulty foundation. There's a crack somewhere that needs to be filled. All right. All right. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. And like I said before, if there's anything that you would want me to discuss, anything more you want to know about me, leave me a comment. Like I said, I'm transparent. I'll talk about anything. I'm not embarrassed of the life that I've lived or anything. If it's something you want to know, let me know. All right. Y'all have a blessed day.